Welcome into the S&Y studios. I'm joined by three-time heavyweight world champion Lennox Lewis, and let's get right into it. First of all, thanks so much for joining us, Lennox.
Thank you.
And you're in town to analyze big boxing matches between the Charlo twins, the identical twins, who are both the title holders, you know, in middleweight and junior middleweight. They're going up against Matt Korboff and Tony Harrison. What do you see being the difference or the key for them being able to overtake all those guys?
Well, you know, this is a chance for them to, you know, show how great they are, and you know they've got to be great because they're, you know, they're both champions, and everybody that's going to come up against them want to beat them. You know, they're sitting high right now, and everybody they step in the ring with is coming there to beat them. So they're in for some tough fights, and we're going to have to see how well they do.
You saw the big fight between Wilder and Fury.
Yeah.
It was incredible how Fury still managed to get up after Wilder seemed to knock him out into another stratosphere. What did you make of that draw? Did you think Wilder was, you know, kind of robbed, or did you agree with the decision?
I don't know. You know, you ask a lot of different people, and you get different theories behind the fight. I thought it was a great fight for boxing. It's one of those fights that gave you everything. It gave you a lot of drama in it. It gave you some good boxing. When you think it's going one way, it's going the other way. When you think it's gone one way, it's not. You know, he wakes up and he wakes up from the dead basically and starts fighting again. So those kind of fights are great for boxing. People love to see those kind of fights, and this is what people love about boxing, the drama of it.
What was your first thought when you saw Fury, wake up from the dead? Because I'm sure you thought, like everybody thought it was over.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was over. Deontay thought it was over, and I was shocked that the ref allowed him to come back into the fight, because I remember losing fights in the second round. The referee just waving me off. I'm like, I'm the champion, and this is only the second round, buddy. No, but this was, you know, in the Tyson Fury fight and Deontay Wilder fight, that was the last round, and they were taking punishment. He's been knocked down a couple times, and the referee still counted while he was like this. And he basically woke up and got up. Yeah. So, you know, the referee was really lenient in that fight against him, which there's some that's not lenient. They'll just wave it off straight away.
Yeah. So let's talk about your career. It's been very decorated, obviously one of the best all time. When you beat Evander Holyfield, that second match, what do you think it did for your legacy after that first draw?
You know, I think the first draw did something for my legacy, because people were actually able to see two fighters that they'd never seen in the ring before. They could hear everything. You know, when you go to the barber and you're getting your hair cut, people are always saying, oh, well, you know, Holyfield's the best. No, Tyson's the best. So I just wanted to end all that argument. So when you're getting your hair cut, you can only hear Lennox Lewis is the best.
Let's shift over to the Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you were at your prime. He was slowing down a little bit. Was there ever a point, because when I was watching the clips for this interview, you destroyed him. It looked like you took his soul. Was there ever a point that you felt sorry for him, or like, I'm just trying to knock him out?
You know, Mike Tyson has been my foe for a long time in that sense, and I know a lot of people always wanted to see the matchup between me and him. And, you know, this fight was like more of a get back for me in one sense, because we had a press conference before that and he bit me on my leg, and I was like, yo, I've never been bit by another human. And it's like, it got me upset. So, you know, going into training camp, he basically, you know, that was a fuel for the fire. And I just went out there just to, you know, this was the fight, this was my foe, this was a fight anticipated, everybody wanted to see it. You know, I just wanted to be the best that I could possibly be for that fight.
Now, what was it like to hear Muhammad Ali tell you, he said that you're the greatest one there is, like me? To have somebody of such status and somebody who's revered in the boxing world, what did that do for your spirit?
What it did for my spirit when Muhammad Ali said that, it like, wow, this man said this to me, it's great, you know, because we were actually in Toronto at the time, and he whispered, he goes, I used to be great, but now you're the greatest. I was like, no, you're still the greatest, Muhammad. That's what I told him. So it was a great honor, because obviously, you know, Muhammad Ali got me into boxing. I used to love seeing Muhammad Ali fight. If I didn't see the Muhammad Ali shuffle, I used to be upset. It's like, man. But he would give you something else. They would give you something else to talk about the next day. So, you know, I always remember that.
All right, lastly, this current crop of boxers with Wilder, Fury, Joshua, how do you think you would compare if you were in the ring against them?
I'll knock them all out. I'll knock them all out. No, they're pretty tough. I mean, you know, these guys are bigger. You know, 6'9", 6'7", 6'8". You know, I'm only 6'5", so
only 6 foot.
I know that probably my boxing styles would probably mess them up a little bit, because I'm a five-dimensional fighter. So I know they've never seen a five-dimensional fighter. All of them are still two-dimensional.
Yeah, so you would throw a whole lot of combinations at them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Lennox Lewis,
Thanks
so
for
much
having
for
me.
joining us.
Nice.
3-time heavyweight world champion and the last undisputed champion